Good evening. We're being quiet tonight. Laura's in bed. What's going on, y'all? I'm No Nothing Attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. Because it's only in embracing that we know nothing that we can actually learn anything. And that's what we're working on. Last night, we started working on the next video script. Maddie and I did some outlining together. Found a list of things. Well, idea behind the next script is, what is TDS? How do we judge TDS? How do we determine whether someone is capable of being a good leader or not? And how do we determine when someone is being afflicted with derangement such that they are treating someone differently? And then we are going to look back at the history of Donald Trump, see when voters could have made decisions based on what information, and kind of prove the point that even as of 2016, you could have seen that this person should not have ever been a leader. Right. The point is this, that things have gotten so bad, especially over the past few days, that there really isn't an excuse for anyone to support Donald Trump anymore. And I think that kind of provides us an opportunity to discuss, this is who's been conning you the whole time. This is the guy that has been right in front of you and you have missed it. And I think we also want to press that you are not to blame for that. If we stick people with the forever shame of making poor decisions, like that with Donald Trump, then we don't give them room to help us make something better. And if they're not with us, they're against us. So you kind of have to make room for them to help make something better. That's unfortunately the way politics is. So we're going to get to work. We're going to start doing our research. And the first thing that I want to do tonight is kind of fun. I want to look back at some historical statements from Republican leaders about Donald Trump. So let's do that. Let's minimize that. For a moment. Where's the option to center? There it is. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, don't all. No. Okay, cut it out. There we go. Okay. Let's look at our favorite one. Let's go to JD Vance first. Oh, no. It has to be a separate tab. Separate window. No. That's not where we want to be. Okay. That's fine. There we go. Oh.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016 on how he felt about Trump then.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
Fast forward to 2024.
I don't hide from that. I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president and he changed my mind. I think he changed the minds of a lot of Americans.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016 on how he felt about Trump then.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
Fast forward to 2024.
downloading Stash already now, so I can download some YouTube videos.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016 on how he felt about Trump then.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
Fast forward to 2024.
I don't hide from that. I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president and he changed my mind. I think he changed the minds of a lot of Americans.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016 on how he felt about Trump then.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
Fast forward to 2024.
I don't hide from that. I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president and he changed my mind. I think he changed the minds of a lot of Americans.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016 on how he felt about Trump then.
I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm definitely not going to vote for Trump because I think that he's projecting very complex problems onto simple villains.
Fast forward to 2024.
I don't hide from that. I was certainly skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016, but President Trump was a great president and he changed my mind. I think he changed the minds of a lot of Americans.
J.D. Vance, former President Trump's VP pick, once called him a moral disaster and, quote, possibly America's Hitler. Here's a flashback to 2016.
J.D. Vance is the notorious candidate for a Senate seat in Ohio, and it turns out that a former buddy of his has leaked some text messages that he sent in regard to Donald Trump dating back to 2016. Now, J.D. Vance was very critical of Trump, that's not a secret, but it turns out that he even compared Donald Trump to Hitler. So Josh McLaurin is the lawmaker from Georgia who decided to share the screenshot. He says, the screenshot below is J.D. Vance's unfiltered explanation from 2016 of the breakdown in Republican politics that he now personally is trying to exploit. The America's Hitler bit is at the end. The public deserves to know the magnitude of this guy's bad faith. And then he shares the screenshot of the text message. I'm gonna read it in its entirety because I think all of it is fascinating and it shows you what J.D. Vance really thinks, but will clearly message something completely different for his political aspirations. He wrote, again, back in 2016, but I'm not surprised by Trump's rise, and I think the entire party has only itself to blame. We are, whether we like it or not, the party of lower income, lower education white people, and I have been saying for a long time that we need to offer those people something, and hell, maybe even expand our appeal to working class black people in the process. Ooh, wow, imagine that. He continues to say, or a demagogue would, we are now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical person like a-hole, like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?
Yeah, well, how's that for a sleazy liar? And I don't mean that text, that's where he's being honest. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. First of all,
person like a-hole, like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?
Yeah, well, how's that for a sleazy liar? And I don't mean
or a demagogue would. We are now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical person like a-hole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?
Yeah, well, how's that for a sleazy liar? And I don't mean that text, that's where he's being honest. So I'm gonna get to that.
Or a demagogue would. We are now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical person like a-hole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?
Yeah, well, how's that for a sleazy liar? And I don't mean that text, that's where he's being honest. So
point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical person like a-hole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful, or that he's America's Hitler. How's that for discouraging?
yeah, well, how's that for a sleazy liar? And I don't mean that text, that's where he's being honest. So I'm gonna get to that in a second. First of all, unendorsement from Trump coming in 3, 2, 1, okay? So we'll come back to that too. But that text message, well, that's the real JD Vance. He's talking to, at the time of
that I was relatively low income relative to my peers, but that I had kids who had
You decided to write the book as you
problems that exist in communities and the neighborhoods that were allied that.
cynicism, pessimism, and resentment and hardship. Read J.D. Vance's new book, Hillbilly.
I think that's definitely true. I mean, one of the things that's really driving attraction to Donald Trump is not any special quality of Donald Trump himself, any.
Some of the feelings that are driving this presidential election.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. I mean, one of the things that's really driving attraction to Donald Trump is not any special quality of Donald Trump himself, but of the fact that folks feel very resentful at the media establishment, the political establishment, the financial establishment, and so forth. And so one of the things that I really started to recognize as a teenager is that folks are very cynical, pessimistic, and because of it, sort of alienated from the broader American community. That's one of the things I wrote about. I didn't quite expect it would take the form that it's taken, but I'm not surprised.
But tell me more about that. I mean, they feel alienated because what?
Well, so it's a combination of the fact that their communities themselves aren't going especially well, right? So they're social who you put down on people affect me on the drug to spend a lot being self-reliant woman who recognizes that. Well, one that she preached a very tough message, right? So I remember when I was a kid, she bought me a really nice graphing calculator for one of my advanced math classes. She didn't have a whole lot of money or very poor around me.
Or other reasons?
Yeah, it's a combination. I was definitely a patriotic kid, like a lot of kids who grow up in my neighborhood, puzzling through. Yeah, the great thing about the Marine Corps is that they really force you to shape up. I like to describe it as a 4-year character education because they teach you not just, how to iron in a uniform, but they teach you about financial management. They teach you how to make your bed. They teach you a lot of the skill sets that you need to be a successful adult.
Part of the conventional wisdom about this, in terms of a commentary that leads people to be so excited about your book, is you're giving them a
both on the left and the right, there's a movement to sort of gloat over the fact that the elites went to either the Democratic or the Republican. Hillary Clinton, obviously the white working class voted for Bill Clinton, and then we're going to have an increasingly polarized electorate, right?
Yes.
So, I think that there could be a natural constituency in the white working class for Hillary Clinton. Obviously the white working class voted for Bill Clinton, in overwhelming numbers. So it's not, to me, it's not so much an ideological opposition to either the Democratic or the Republican elites. It's a sense that people just don't care about those like you.
Exactly right. They don't care.
Exactly. And, you know, that feeling, unfortunately, if you think about the political dialogue.
No, I'm listening. And I want you to know that if I win and even don't get your vote, I'm coming back.
Sure.
You know, to give them some sense, to be able to believe that that somebody heading for Washington, if she is indeed heading for Washington, has taken enough time to try to hear what the problems are.
Sure. I think that would be an extraordinarily constructive addition to our politics, because at the end of the day, if people only focus on those who they think are going to vote for them, then we're going to
care.
Exactly. And, you know, that feeling, unfortunately, if you think about the political dialogue that we're already starting to have, you know, both on the left and the right, there's a movement to sort of gloat over the fact that the elites were right about Donald Trump, right? I'm a never Trump guy. I never liked him. And but I've noticed this willingness from people who think a lot like I do, that, look, we told you so. To all these white working class voters, we told you so. We told you that Trump was going to be a terrible candidate. We told you that you were an idiot if you voted for him.
Hi, Omnom. How is your prompt even up for debate? What prompt are you talking about? There are a whole bunch of different prompts, so I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Yeah, you would think. However, there are some people. I recently listened to a debate where somebody thought that, I don't know, the executive branch had some kind of authority that goes outside of the Constitution, as if like the Constitution doesn't give that power. The executive branch has some kind of, I don't know, primordial power that exists for a nation that goes beyond the law that sets up the government of that nation. I don't know, man. But it's not necessarily that it's prompting to debate. It could also prompt people to be like, well, yeah, but you lefties are making an accusation that isn't real, that like the military needs to be disobeying orders. So I use it to potentially prompt any kind of response to that. There's some things in there that are just meant to trigger somebody to be like, well, I just want to get mad at you now. Cult members believe they owe this allegiance to the president. I know, yeah, it's kind of insane. Welcome to kind of a slow, quiet night. None of the regulars are in right now, and it's quiet night because I'm currently in my bedroom / office, and my kid is sleeping in my bed right now. So keeping it low key. right now we're prepping our next video script. We did some outlining last night, working with the chat, and now we're adding to it with some quotes from conservative leaders that go back to 2016 or so, and seeing what they thought about Donald Trump back then. The Russia hoax being a hoax, well, the Russia hoax got people in prison. People went to prison because of the coordination with the Russian government, or people affiliated with the Russian government over the 2016 election. In the 2016 election, there was also Russian interference with the election, not directly with the election infrastructure, but at a minimum with social engineering online. There was a massive campaign to impact what people thought or knew about issues involving the election. And beyond that, we know that there was definitely some interaction directly between the Kremlin and the Trump campaign, because Donald Trump Jr. admitted to meeting with representatives of the Kremlin in Trump Tower to discuss dirt on Hillary Clinton. They claim not to have gotten anything they liked, so they didn't make an exchange of any kind, but that did happen, and it was I quote JD Vance on Trump back then. We're gonna get a bunch of people. The idea here is, I had this conversation with my MAGA coworker recently, where I explained to her, I was like, she wanted to accuse me of having TDS because I was upset about the mass deportations. I was upset about Trump murdering people in the Caribbean. I was upset about the him demanding the death of Democratic lawmakers for nothing illegal. And so she was backed into a corner, and so she said I had TDS, and I was like, what does that even mean to you? Like, I have derangement. Like, as far as I can tell, the only person with derangement on this would be you, because you are like upholding a completely different standard for this person than you would for anyone else. That seems like derangement. Well, I'm like, I welcome you to discuss anything. I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to talk about. I can't claim to be an expert on everything. I am no nothing attorney. I proudly proclaim that there's stuff that I don't know, and I think more people should do that. But so yeah, I was explaining to her, I was like, I used to be a fundamentalist Christian conservative back in 2016. And I was extraordinarily upset about the possibility of Donald Trump being the candidate for the Republican Party. And I knew immediately when he became the candidate that there was no chance in hell that I was going to be voting for him. And my whole family, old school Texas conservatives, all felt the same way. Like, this is not politically appetizing. This is not what leadership looks like. And I explained to her, I was like, so if I have TDS, when did it start? Because in 2016, I had a 1-year-old daughter, and I was very upset about the prospect of voting for a guy who had that Access Hollywood tape as an issue. He was also had made very condescending statements on several different fronts, and I was like, this does not bode well for the future for my daughter. Beyond that, I knew that he had a history of at least evidence of a relationship with organized crime going back decades. I also knew that some weird things were being said about Russia, and just all of this was not okay. All of it was not okay. And I knew he was lying about his tax returns. I knew that back then. I don't know why other people didn't think that he was lying. But so the idea behind this video is, if you're saying that Trump derangement syndrome is a thing, then that means that all of the things that have come out about him, the 34 felonies, the being found liable for sexual assault for raping E. Jean Carroll, for defrauding, like stealing money from children with cancer that the money was supposed to be for the Trump Foundation, being found to have defrauded the customers of the Trump University. All of these things. And all of the indictments, of course. When did all the unfairness start? Because all these things have evidence behind them. I need you to show me where we started being unfair to him. We can go back in time, decade after decade after decade, and we can see going all the way back to Frederick Trump and the Klondike Gold Rush, and seeing that he was prostituting women to minors, supposedly. We're going to do more research on that. But like, these people have not had clean hands for generations. Fred Trump made his fortune through the process of being accused of profiteering off of federal and New York state grant funds. Literally making their fortune off of stealing American dollars for generations. This is not new for them. So, given the news in the past few days and just kind of the vile behavior that's going on with the Epstein files, the idea is there is nothing to defend anymore. There literally isn't anything. And I need you to take a look at this and see, this is the person that's been standing right in front of you the whole time. A fraud, a con man. So, for the moment, we're just getting some fun quotes. Where did I leave off? To all these whites. Where is that? Working class voters. We told you so. Didn't know about Fred Trump. Oh my God. Go back to Fred Trump. Go back to Frederick Trump. Fred Trump had a 1991 FBI memo that alleged intel that was given to them about his relationship with organized crime. And there was also a 1980s RICO investigation into the Trump organization about their ties to organized crime. Trump had direct ties to multiple Italian mafia families in New York City, and some Russian ties as well. Oh, cool. What's going on in the Netherlands? It's really weird to me to have this quiet of a night. It hasn't been this quiet in a while. The past 2 nights I've been dealing with like a group of trolls that have come in to try to irritate me. It's been pretty funny because they got me to Twitch affiliate. And then they tried to make me feel bad about that. Like, you know, it's so sad that it took you that much to get Twitch affiliate. It's like, dude, I've been doing Twitch for less than a month. Like, everybody's gonna be new at some point, but thank you for helping me cross the line. Trends from the US? You mean like authoritarianism? Far right fervor? We told you that Trump was going to be a terrible candidate. We told you that you were an idiot if you voted for him. Funny. Interview with Charlie Rose. Where does that come in? 1710. What else we got? Nice. Can we find that? It's a deleted tweet.
This was a tweet that JD
No,
Vance
wait,
deleted.
I didn't
where he
download that
said
video.
Trump.
Go back. Don't need that. Not at that stage yet, but the last term, the major party was a populist party with far-right rhetoric, so definitely getting there. I think this is an issue of the internet. I don't know that that's solely an American issue. I think it's a problem of the internet. We do not understand how, like, we as a species cannot process infinite information. We have not figured out how to deal with that idea, and I don't know if we can. I don't know if we have the capacity as a species to be confronted with infinite information, because that's part of the philosophy of this channel, where I want to encourage people to be okay with not knowing things, because it used to be that we had no choice. It used to be that we would just be like, I don't know, I haven't heard anything about that, so I can't say. But now, with the internet, you're going to hear something about every piece of news from people that you already agree with. But then there's too much information out there to bother researching it, so all you can do is rely on people that you trust, whether or not you should trust them. And now you have to have an opinion on everything. And you feel like you're justified in having an opinion on everything because you've heard something about everything. And to most people, they're like, I don't have the capacity to research. That's all I can do, so that is enough. I now know something. No, you don't. It's okay to not know things. Okay, I downloaded it. Okay, go back to the other video.
This was a tweet that JD Vance deleted where he said Trump makes people
that's
I care
busted
about
as fuck.
afraid. Immigrants, Muslims, etc.
I want to pivot
That's
and talk
busted
This was
as
a tweet.
Fuck. I've been doing this for like 2 months now. I know better than that. So true. Yeah, nowadays it's literally so uncommon for someone to say, I don't know much about that. I can't say literally under. Yeah, I know, right? I know. I keep having this conversation with my MAGA coworker, and where, like, specifically the conversation the other day was on the murders in the Caribbean, and she's like, oh, you mean the drug dealers? I'm like, you literally just believe that. She goes, no, I know it. I'm like, no, you don't. You literally just believe it. And we went back and forth for a couple times, and I was like, no, I know. I was like, how do you know? What makes you believe that's true? And she goes, there are pictures. I was like, find one. Show me a picture. Not that that would justify murdering those people, but if you believe they are drug boats, at least prove that. At least be able to substantiate it. She goes, okay, I will. And she sat there on her computer trying to find something, couldn't find anything. And I was like, and besides that, if you found a picture of a boat, that wouldn't justify the murder of all of those dozens of people, those 70 plus people. I don't know what it has gotten up to at this point. It doesn't justify every single one of those things. There are innocent people. And she goes, oh, yeah, I feel so bad for those innocent people. And I was like, okay, so those are murders? And she goes, no, it's their fault. It's their fault for getting involved with people like that. I was like, oh my God. People like what? She's like, drug dealers. I'm like, you just believe that. And it's so awful and cruel of you to just believe that about people you don't know. You literally just believe it without any cause. You don't know these people. And then, like, I followed her out as she was leaving the building, like, because we have friendly conversations about this stuff. I'm like, Jenny, it's just mean. The stance you have decided to take is simply mean. Hey, Deadflake, welcome to the YouTube chat. Usually most of the chatting goes on in the Twitch stream, so if you want to hop over here, that's fine, but you're also welcome to stay in the YouTube chat. Yeah, they don't, well, I don't know if I agree that it's they don't care, Deadflake. It's, I have a better, I have a kinder view of the world than that. As we were just talking about before you showed up, I think we were discussing how the rise of authoritarianism and far-right movements across the world, I don't think is an American problem. I don't think it's a European problem. I think it's an internet problem. I think it has all spawned from the internet because people don't understand how to accept that they don't know things anymore. And the problem is, I can let me get a view of myself so I can see if I can try to make this visual for you guys. The way I've explained it before, my view on debating people and on how they build their worldviews is everybody starts with a foundational belief. This is like their foundation. And then they build all of their character, all of their beliefs, all of their morals on that foundation. And they just build and build and build and build. And everything has to hold things that are above it. Like new introductions don't lay their own foundation. They have to get laid on top of things that you already believe. And when you debate people, the way most people approach it is they want to attack what's at the top and just tear it down thing by thing by thing by thing. And this stuff that they've built up, a lot of it ties back to their values, and a lot of it isn't like innately harmful stuff. But when you start to threaten what's above it, then they think you're going to target the thing below it. And all the stuff on the internet that they feel like they've built truth on, the sources that they've gotten that truth from, they pull more data that isn't justified and just stack it on top of those higher up tier things that aren't foundational, but they are foundational to these new beliefs. And so they're just collecting more data that isn't justified based on what they already have. And I believe that if you go far enough down, if you talk to the people at the foundational level, if you try to go to where their values are, it's not that they don't care. It's that they have at their core a real human value. And that has been obscured by falsehoods that they haven't examined. And they continue to maintain some monstrous positions because they're afraid of examining them, because they're afraid of what tearing that down would mean. So I like to build people up when I have discussions with them. I am happy to debate people, but I would rather have a conversation that starts with their foundational value and then explore that with them, show them what building a new tower of worldview would look like, and then I allow them the freedom to decide between those two towers, the one they've always had and the new one that we've built together. Let them look at that and be like, which of these do I want? Like, which of these makes more sense to me now? What's up, Deadflake? Evil alien robot. Do you think the problem could be introspection is just too painful for people who are otherwise comfortable? Yes, introspection is very painful. I think on an animal level, change means something is wrong. Change means something is threatening. You don't change if things are okay. So we have an innate fear of changing things. Last time fans visited Rome, Pope died. Hey, it's Billy Blee. What's up? Billy Blee, we got some new people in here tonight. I think we have to be so nice to conservatives because we lose if we are mean. I mean, it's kind of pathetic that that's true, but it is true. Everyone holds lefties to a higher standard, and that includes lefties. If you start tearing yourself down, then not only does that not gain anyone's trust, but it also you lose you lose the foundational ideals that you're trying to uphold. So you can't. And so I try to be radically kind-hearted. I try to be radically open. I try to be radically accepting and radically earnest. I think above all else, I'm radically earnest. I'll be way more honest than I have to be. Evening self-study. All right. Way to go, Billy Blee. It's keeping on top of your own required work. Good shit. How did this get smaller? I don't want that. Oh, we have Vance landing in Rome up on the screen right now. Okay. What? I don't think this is what I want. I not going to be able to find this tweet? Am I not going to be able to find it except in this guy that has made a video that doesn't fit it on the screen? This is really annoying.
Deleted where he said Trump makes people I care about afraid, immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us.
Okay.
And not only that, this was a tweet that JD Vance deleted where he said Trump makes people I care about afraid, immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us. And not only that, JD Vance also said this: Mr. Trump is unfit for our nation's highest office.
And then, of course,
this was a tweet that JD Vance deleted where he said Trump makes people I care about afraid, immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us. And not only that, JD Vance also said this: Mr. Trump is unfit for our nation's highest office. That's the guy who Donald Trump has picked to be his vice president. This was a tweet that JD Vance deleted where he said Trump makes people I care about afraid, immigrants, Muslims.
Let's download that video real quick. Hey, it's Maddie. We lose if we're mean. Yeah, I think we do, Maddie. I think it sucks, but I think it's true. Because, like, being mean doesn't gain right-wing voters, and I think it loses left-wing voters. It's kind of a stupid catch-22. I did grow up conservative. Fun know-nothing attorney fact, I've learned within the last couple months that my dad helped draw the early 1970s Texas redistricting maps that were shot down by the Supreme Court as unconstitutionally prejudicial against Black and Hispanic voters. That sucked. And he's proud of it. He's still proud of it because he considers it to be like a great political achievement. I don't think he cares about what it did. I think he's just like, I did a thing. Cool me. Honestly, Maddie, the way you put that, I wouldn't even disagree with that statement. The problem is we have a bunch of people that haven't been taught an effective epistemology, so they are still basically living on an animal's epistemology. Scary things are bad. I do thing that I trust just because. Like, it helped me, like, it didn't kill me last time, so I'm going to continue believing it. That is literally their system of epistemology. So you cannot scare them further. That doesn't help. You have to try to get through to them on a basic epistemology. Build them up on the foundational values they care about and teach them effective epistemology. It's the only thing to do, and you have to do it kindly. I still disagree with my MAGA coworker on a lot of things, but at least now she is saying, I understand that gender exists. I understand why transgender people are concerned about how people are treating the gender issue, and I wouldn't have understood that if you hadn't taken the time to just sit down and explain it to me. I don't think enough lefties are explaining it to people like me. And I'm like, that's bullshit. People are explaining it literally all the time, but maybe they aren't sitting down to you and being kind to you the way that I am. For me, such levels of ignorance and just basic lack of human decency, let alone empathy, are just incomprehensible. Yeah, I know. It, like, the thing that you have to, like, I'm not going to require anybody to remember this, but if you want to try to make a connection with people who are lost, it's that you have to remember that they don't see themselves as bad guys. They think they are looking out for a basic human value. They are just confused about what is supporting that. They believe in a bunch of false messaging. Like, the number of people who say, I don't support DEI because I don't like, I believe in making sure that people who are qualified get the job. I'm like, literally, I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, then you support DEI. If all you care about is that the people who are qualified get the job and you don't care about the color of their skin or their sex or any of those, any other immutable characteristic, then you support DEI. That's the plain simple thing. And they are just awash with misinformation while trying to uphold things that are actual good values. They don't get it. I'm not saying we can't create communication paths and narratives. You can admit you're right and still be extremely kind to someone who isn't emotionally mature enough to learn and grow. But every left-wing politician I've seen run as GOP light almost always, no, do not run as GOP light. Cannot do it. And that's not what I'm saying people should run on. I am not here for a political campaign. I am here for a constitutional convention campaign. And we can agree on polity, even if we can't agree on policy. If I were to run as a politician, I would 100% run as a democratic socialist. I may not be able to implement all the policies I would prefer, and I would make that clear as a candidate. I'd be like, I'm here to support people who vote for me, and that means that I am not here to support my own agenda. I'm here to support your agenda. So while I prefer these positions, I understand if my voter base does not support that. I hope to change your mind someday. But I still wouldn't go moderate. I would still be lefty, just wouldn't go super hard. Democrats aren't quite left-wing. No, they're not. It's not pandering, ass kiss the right, or a meanie lefty gets snobby and uses big words. A middle-aged person should not be able to hide behind the lack of emotional maturity. Well, they don't think they're hiding. You are having to convince them that that's what they're doing, and then you get them to stop. We can find a relevant message to many right-wing people that doesn't mean selling out our own beliefs. I don't believe in selling out our own beliefs. Omnom just believe there will always be value in taking the high road. We are more mature than them, and that's a responsibility for us to lead change. I'm not going to juvenilize them. So what's your alternative? How do you reach them? Because they will exist whether or not you agree with them. That's my struggle. That's my struggle. Can't take the high road if they carpet bomb that shit to pieces, which is exactly what MAGA does, because by definition, that is how populism works. I'm not sure what you mean on that. Let me try explaining it. Okay, now I'm caught up. I feel like I'm debating with Maddie for the first time. This is such a change. The thing is that without trying to juvenilize them, I am trying to assess their frame of mind. And the sad thing is that they have a very simplistic worldview. They have a their animal brain, what I call the dumb brain back here. The dumb brain is very much in control. And if you come at them even in the harshest, like in a somewhat harsh way, they will not be open to learning. And I think the only way you can change a person's mind is by helping them learn. One of the proudest moments in my life was I did a hike and brunch meetup group, and during the brunch, the guy who was hosting the event, one of the tables left, and he came to join our table since he was still running it, and he almost immediately opened up with, my son is coming home from Europe for the first time this summer, and I mean, I guess they would like me to call them my daughter, and I was like, oh, no. You have brought this topic up with the wrong person. I'm not going to shut up about it. I will raise this with you. I will challenge you on this, but I will do it kindly because you are talking about your kid, and I don't know where you're coming from yet. And the way I approached that with him, I just asked him a bunch of questions, and it was very clear that he cared about his kid. he was very confused about a lot of things, but he cared about his kid. And if I had just told him that he was wrong, I would not have been able to help him, and I would not have been able to help his kid. But by the end of that conversation, I was having him understand things, not agree with them, but understand things from his kid's side. And I offered him pathways to support his kid without agreeing with them. I was like, they're going to come home and you don't want to fuck up this opportunity to reconnect with your kid. So let me coach you on some things that you can say that will show that you support them without you feeling like you have to agree with their stance. And it's very possible that they might face some like mental health challenges, because everybody who goes through this shit does. And like, if that's something that you want to try to support them with as a parent, I need to coach you on the right way to approach that and offer it. But you can offer it and be like, you can see it one way and I can see it a different way, and both of us can see this as supporting you, and I want to do that for you, and I want that to be a thing that I can persistently do for you after you go back to Europe. And that dude left that conversation going like, shit, I never thought about any of this way. And like, I actually feel like I'm prepared for my kid to come home and talk to them. And I wasn't expecting that outcome from that conversation, but that's the only way I've seen that work. It's the only way I've seen people actually change their minds on this shit. I mean, I have seen the rare occasion with a debate channel like Jovan Bradley, like I have seen him bully someone to death and that person just go, well, fuck. That's not me. I can't do that. I can't take that route. I can't just pound someone into the ground until they're mentally broken enough to just go, I guess nothing I believe is real anymore. All right, let me catch up with you guys here. Yes, the biggest problem is messaging. You're right, Maddie. But the biggest problem, I think, with messaging is the fact that the people most prone to messaging are the ones being reached by them. Well, like, the left gets it, but the left isn't going to sit here and intentionally design monopolies to brainwash people. That, like, it's a problem of morality again. That doesn't appeal to the left. Both the people who would do the messaging and the receivers of the messaging. Omnam, I missed the point where you were like what you were responding to when you said you feel like it removes responsibility behind their actions. But I at least want to be clear on my point of view that like culpability is completely separate from effectiveness in reaching them. Like, I can recognize that they have been brainwashed, they have been misled, they were never taught an effective epistemology. I can agree that they are culpable for all the shit that they've done, but I cannot change their mind by holding them culpable. It doesn't do that. I can hold both of those positions at the same time. I can just decide that it's not my job to hold them culpable. I can feel they are culpable without me doing something about that. I mean, Omnom, I would go so far as to say I think anybody who holds a negative opinion, like the incorrect opinion, is either fundamentally like mentally impaired, so that their brain doesn't have the necessary functionality for empathy, or more likely, yeah, they have been misled at some point. I will say that I think most of them have just been misled. If that purely comes from the point of view of being brought up in a radical fundamentalist Christian environment, like so many Americans are. Yes, they have terrible beliefs. Yes, they're terrible people. But somewhere deep down in there is a part of them that thinks they're doing a good thing. And if the fundamental motivation is to do a good thing, then there is a good person in there and you can reach them. It's hard to do that. And they're still responsible for everything that they have upheld. You're familiar with the line? I love the line. That's my fucking town, homie. It's my town. Actually, no, Jimmy's not in Austin anymore, is he? Just Matt Dillahunty's in Austin. You think Jimmy Snow was one of the mean ones, or Matt Dillahunty's one of the mean ones? I think they're fucking burnt out. I think they're tired. They get frustrated. I've seen Matt Dillahunty be very, very empathetic. I think he has the capacity in him to be a very sweet person. And I think he just gets very burnt out on a lot of shitheads. And I imagine that has only been worsened by his relationship with Arden. Not that it's his fault. It's just that he now has to put up with a lot more shitheads because of his relationship with Arden. You should be, you're not debating the person to change their minds. You're debating to convince the people reading it that the other person is wrong. I hold a different opinion. I'm here to do something different. I'm not here to do the same thing that other people have done. My philosophy in creating this channel was I want to take this strategy that I have seen be effective in my own life, and I want to try to spread it. If I can apply it on a broader scale, and if I can get other people to adopt that methodology, that's what I want to do. I'm not here to do the same thing. I am here to be radically earnest, and I'm here to be radically empathetic. That is who I am at my core, and I can't be somebody else. And I can also, at the same time, convince other people in the audience. By being empathetic and earnest and knowledgeable, I can get my point across to an audience. And if I'm being radically earnest and empathetic and somebody else rages at me, they're the ones who come off looking like they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Jimmy and Matt are so mean. I think Jimmy's more mean than Matt is. I definitely don't think every right-winger wants to change their mind. But the few experiences I've had is if you start at their core fundamental value, and then you broaden the conversation from there, you leave them without something to say. And that, I think, is meaningful to people. When they sit there and go, well, yeah, you're right, that the thing that I just said conflicts with the thing I told you before is my core value, and I don't have anything to say to that. That leaves them with something. And you're not going to change their mind then and there. But I hope I get the chance to talk to those people again. They could come back and talk to me about it a second time. Because I may not have moved the frequent ultranationalist in our chat. He seemed that when I first talked to him about the concept of gender, we talked for like 2 hours on that subject. I taught him a lot about sex, and I taught him a lot about gender. Like, he got to the point where he's just like, I don't know this stuff. Can you just tell me? And then, like, I talked to him about it for a couple hours. And now he's at, like, by the end of that conversation, he seemed like he was like, okay, this is a lot for me to think about. And, like, I want to take the time to think about it. And he's come back to chat multiple times, and he continues to say that I have not changed his mind. He still thinks sex and gender are the same thing. But now, when I go, okay, well, what do you mean by that? What do you mean when you say sex and gender are the same thing? What should I say when I want to refer to the socio-cultural aspects that are historically related to sex? He doesn't have an answer, and he knows he doesn't have an answer, and he just doesn't want to talk about it anymore. But that means that he's thinking about it. He doesn't know how to process it yet, and he can't think about it without knowing that he has no response. So that has at least mentally shut him down on the subject of gender. And now every time he thinks about it, he has to think about the fact that he is mentally shut down. He has nothing to say. How long can a person last with that mental framework. They're so used to having shit to say. I get you, Omnom. I know that that's a very common point of view on how to debate. My problem is that I don't see that be effective in changing a person's mind. That locks a person down harder. When a person feels attacked, they don't open up to the idea of change. Change, again, from an animal point of view, change is a terrifying thing. It means you're in danger. So don't make them feel like they're in danger. Make them feel comfortable. Make them feel like they're with somebody that wants to see their point of view, wants to understand why they think these things that they believe in do good. And then just gently challenge them on, does it? Does it do good? I can show you where it doesn't. Evil Alien Robot, it is nice to see somebody agree with me on this point of view. Like, I don't expect everybody to agree with me on it. Y'all are perfectly, like, I welcome you challenging me. I always welcome everyone challenging me. But it is nice to see at least, like, somebody go like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I like that. Not to say that, like, I taught this to you. Like, we could mutually come from different directions and come to the same conclusion. Hey, my guy. I changed in about 2020. Yeah. I would say I changed from 2016 to 2020, and it was about 2020, and I was like, yeah, dude, you can't really call yourself conservative anymore, can you? We know. We used to be conservatives. And as the trolls made fun of me for the other day, and that doesn't bother me, one of the key things that changed my mind was Steven Universe. And the approach that Steven Universe took was not an aggressive one. It was teaching people what it, like, how wholesome it can look to have same-sex relationships or same-gender relationships, how wholesome it can be to have self-love, how wholesome it can be to tackle generational trauma. And we're going to approach all of this just from, like, the most healthy way to grow through these things. And just watching that made me go, huh, why did I think this was so bad? I don't really get it. Maybe I don't need to think it's so bad. I know, Maddie. I know. No one would, and I'm gonna get flack for it my entire career on stream. But damn, if a conservative wasn't convinced by Steven Universe. People think it's silly shit. I mean, honestly, it was Trump first, because I sat there and went, what the fuck is happening? Why do people that I agree with politically support this person that I would never stomach for any moment? I would not stomach this person. So that started making me be wary of my community. And then I watched some Steven Universe, and then I kind of, before accepting the like transgender rights argument, I just started arguing with other conservatives on the internet who were just getting it wrong, and I wanted to be correct on the internet. I'm like, if you're going to argue about this, at least be factually correct. So I started arguing with people, and then I soon enough found myself advocating on behalf of transgender individuals on the internet. And before I knew it, I was like, well, damn, I'm just a huge keyboard warrior for trans rights on the internet. And now I'm like, why am I conservative? And then I went to law school, and then law school also made me just think about how I think. It required me to be more choosy about my thought processes. Ha, nice, evil alien robot. See, I mean, that is an example in the opposite direction, like just a hardcore debate won the day. My family was ingrained in the governor's office of Texas. There's no way I was not going to grow up conservative. I still remember my dad being proud of me in 7th grade, where I was like, I think it's reasonable for America to go to war with a country if America thinks that America needs oil for its people. I think that's a justification. That's a good justification for going to war with somebody who's like, that's a good answer, son. I'm just like, nowadays, I'm like, that's really gross. That's really gross. Different definitions of liberal. What am I missing? I'm missing some part of the conversation here. Yeah. Sometimes I really want to test how it works to just lead a person be like, you know, your belief is just mean, right? It's simply mean. What benefit do you get out of it? What is the benefit to being mean? I assume that any policy we uphold should at least have some benefit. So right now, my stance is not mean, and yours is mean. So where are we going? Maddie, don't poison the minds of my other chatters. They're allowed to think nice things about people. And this is especially true coming from my particular channel's philosophy, is like the purpose of this channel, hopefully down the line somewhere. I expect to never get there, but somebody's got to advocate for it. I want to have a constitutional convention because we have so many vulnerabilities in our polity that can only be repaired by amendment. And if we're going to repair things by amendment, we have a whole bunch of amendments that we need. We need so many. And at this point, it is better, especially with like the Supreme Court the way it is, just dismantle it. Just remove the Supreme Court as it currently exists and make a new one. Make an entirely new federal government. We can do that with conservatives. It is possible because they don't. Like the more reasonable conservatives don't disagree on polity with us. Most of us agree on polity. They would hate to admit that, but once you start pushing them on owning positions, like, yeah, we don't want an extremely powerful executive. Yeah, we want to restrain the powers of the federal government. Yeah, we want to restrain our elected representatives. We want to get money out of politics. We want to restrain money's impact on elections. We want more transparency. We want to know what's going on. Like maybe we should have the Supreme Court be generational in nature. But we can't do this if we don't reach across to them. And that's the only way that we can make these changes happen. We are too polarized to ever have an amendment. We're too polarized to ever make any amendment succeed at this point. We literally have to change how we are approaching the conversation. That's not to say we need everyone to agree with us. We just have to change how we're approaching the conversation. That's it. No. No, I haven't. Loved listening to you in the background? What do you mean, Adam McGuire? For what it's worth, Adam McGuire, all the chat's going on in the Twitch chat if you want to jump over to Twitch chat, but you are welcome to dominate the YouTube chat. You're welcome to kill it over there. You guys have totally gotten me off being productive this evening. What is it about American culture that made us unable to strike like the French do. Was it how powerful we let the Pinkertons get? Is that what did it? It's law. Oh, now we have two different answers. Yes, it was the Pinkertons, and no, it's the law. Oh, well, it definitely goes way back. I mean, like, this is a classic American problem. I mean, the labor wars go back over a century. The labor wars in America go back to Sherlock Holmes, the Sign of the Four. Yeah, I'm a murder mystery nerd. I know my shit. The Taft-Hartley Act. Oh, you're gonna appeal to me with law. God, law gets me going. Taft-Hartley Act, Labor Management Relations Act, 1947, better known as the Taft-Hartley Act, is a United States federal law that restricts the activities and power of labor unions. But I mean, American labor culture goes back like another half century before this. The Taft-Hartley Act in 1947, that just seems so... Oh, I see. Yep. This is the entire problem we have been dealing with for almost 100 years. This is everything wrong with America. This one clause of this one sentence is everything wrong with America. This has been an intentional, long-term plan carried out by the powerful, the corporate, for decades. The best thing that ever happened to America was the New Deal. Do you think the U.S. would fire missiles into crowds of protesters? Fuck yeah, they would. Give them a good enough excuse. Yeah, they would. We were in danger of having an educated proletariat. Reagan used the word proletariat? What? Oh, hey, Maddie, you know what we left out of the outline last night? After this got enacted, our culture or large subculture of unions and labor started to lose those methods and tactics and understanding institutional knowledge. Yeah. So, like, we had a shitty labor culture, and then we started to build it up, and then the New Deal was the golden era, and then we tore it all down again. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh, the thing we left out the outline last night was Trump's violent tendencies. We completely left off him calling to hang the Democratic lawmakers. That was recent nightmare news, and we completely left it off. I can't believe us. I can't believe us. We're such a good dynamic duo and missed it. Okay, what else are we missing from Vance here? Got kid coughing in the background. Kid coughing in the background. Do, 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 do. We're going to do the Atlantic interview. Can't stomach Trump. Whoa. God, I hate those Vance pictures.
This was a tweet.
I love them, but I also hate them. What was that, 2016? 2016. Yeah, there's so much. There's too much awful Trump shit. I got to teach Omnom earlier about Fred Trump and Frederick Trump. It's always fun. It's always fun to teach people that the family legacy of abusing women goes back generations, and the family fortune came from stealing from America from the beginning. Thank you, Maddie. I have at time, like, part of the problem with law school is you become familiar with so many things, and then you just become unfamiliar with them because you can't focus on every part of the law. Was this him in 2016? This looks like more recent JD Vance. He doesn't, like, this is 2016 Vance. What the fuck is this? This is not 2016 Vance. Oh, he speaks on 2016 Trump comments. Who cares?
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate, and frankly, I think a really bad person.
All right, give that back.
And so one of the takeaways is not just that the Republican Party base is somehow fundamentally flawed in a way that's unique in American political history. It's that Trump is a really bad candidate.
I don't know what ASTV is. Let's download that one. Got it. Cool. All right. I'll let you guys pick the next one. We got who do we have? Lindsey Graham, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Mitch McConnell, Nikki Haley, Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan. Oof. Forgot Paul Ryan was a person. John McCain, John Kasich, Rick Perry. Man, we got a lot of people here. We also have to go back and look at what the founders said about what types of people should be leaders. Yeah, every employee should be unionized. But, like, there's something so inherently wrong in everything. When you look at your job and you go, what would happen if tomorrow I went and started trying to unionize everybody at my job? And you just think about that and you go, yeah, my feelings right now are very indicative of a problem. You shouldn't get that gut-wrenching feeling thinking about what would happen if you tried to unionize your job. Yeah. Too much slop, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Omnom, I do not think that you have provided slop. I have very much appreciated you being here your first night. Thank you. You have been wonderful, and I'm proud of you. And I'm allowed to be proud of you. I'm gonna fucking tell you I'm proud of you every night you're here. I'm gonna tell everybody that I'm proud of them. It's my sign off. Does anybody need to hear that I'm proud of them right now? Does anybody want to share something with me that I can be proud of with you? Evil Alien Robot, I have also appreciated your first night in the stream. It's been great, and I'm proud of you. You all are great people. Well, nobody chose anything, so I'm just gonna go down my list here. And we're gonna go with Lindsey Graham. Well, that's a great first quote. Let's go for it. Lindsey Graham, December 2015 CNN interview.
What is your reaction to hearing what Donald Trump says?
Disgusted. Well, I want to talk
I'm
to the
sorry.
Trump
Can you do that again, Lindsay?
What is your reaction to hearing what Donald Trump says?
Disgusted.
Yeah, we're at the very, very beginning stages of working on my second video script. The first video was all about the necessity of a constitutional convention. This one is our first in a series called An Appeal to the Right. What is TDS? Well, the series is An Appeal to the Right. And this one is probably going to have to turn into its own series of what is TDS. Yeah, I was about to do that. Would you like me, Maddie, to pump up the volume? Pump up the volume? Millennials in the house.
Well, I want to talk to the Trump
It's
supporters.
a quiet video.
I don't know
It's just
who you are,
quiet-ass
and
video.
I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong
Can you
when
hear
the
that?
rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make...
Don't call me a nerd, Maddie. Don't call me a nerd. I'm going to get all excited.
your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my
Okay,
party.
that's just a
He doesn't-
lie. Now we got to lies by the end of that. He's not a religious bigot. Oh, do you mean he's a bigot about religion? That's true. That's true. It's probably about the Muslim ban. Let's do that one more time.
I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make...
I'm sorry. He appears to be strong and the rest of us are weak? What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, Dave was great. I really appreciated him. He was a wonderfully welcoming. I know that, like, I have a tendency to, like, over-explain stuff. So I know that when I came in and then he was, like, he asked me some very surface-level questions about who I was. And then I was just like, well, now I need to explain things. So this is what my channel does. This is what I'm doing. And, like, it probably went way past what he wanted. But he was very kind about it. He was very welcoming. It's just practice about being kind and welcoming, or practice about oversharing, because I just overshare. It's been my problem for my entire life. My friends tell me, like, if they get me started on a story, then I will go story, and I will go into way too much detail because I have a hard time parsing what is unnecessary detail and what is not. Right. Miss Lindsay should just be able to be who she is.
Make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. I've been in the Air Force for 33 years. I retired this June.
This is too long.
He's the ISO Man of the Year, by the way. Just got back from Iraq a week ago this Monday.
Okay,
It's a
okay,
race
he ran out
baiting,
of steam.
xenophobic, successful businessman. He's going to make everything great. He's going
One
to
sec.
take all the problems of the world and put them in a box. And make your life better. That's why he's going to make everything great, strong. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you
What is your reaction to hearing what Donald Trump says?
are disgusted. Well, I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, supporters for a minute. I want to talk. Well, I want to talk to the Trump supporters for a minute. I don't know who you are, and I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box. He's a very successful businessman, and I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. I don't know why you like this guy. I think what you like about him, he appears to be strong when the rest of us are weak. He's a very successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put successful businessman, and he's going to make everything great. He's going to take all the problems of the world and put them in a box and make your life better. That's what he's selling. Here's what you're buying. He's a race-baiting, xenophobic, religious bigot. He doesn't represent my party. He doesn't represent the values that the men and women who wear the uniform are fighting for. I've been in the Air Force for 33 years. I retired this June. He's the ISIL Man of the Year, by the way. Just got back from Iraq a week ago this Monday.
I know, we interviewed you live from there. You were with Senator John McCain, and you were going into Iraq to get a status report. What were they saying there about all?
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Got a sick kid over there coughing. Ran over to take care of her. Okay, I think that does it for that one. Got ourselves a nice, chunky quote. CNN interview 2015. This is going to take us so long. So long. But I think collecting these quotes is worth it. It's probably going to be about 30 seconds of clips, and that's what I'm going to get out of it, but I think it's worth it. Y'all can hear me now, right? All right, what else have we got for Lindsey Graham? Campaign rally, February 2016. Oop.
Lindsey Graham, also, there's about 100 people on the Republican side thinking about running for the nomination. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Listen to him here telling CNN's Dana Bash why he thinks he might run too.
I'm tired of just complaining. I'm now ready to try to lead. Whether or not there's a market for me, I won't know till I try.
So if you're tired of complaining, you should run for president. That's going to be a really crowded field.
It's going to be very crowded. What we saw him do as well was start that PAC, which shows that he's not just blowing smoke here. He might possibly do something about this. Right. The interesting thing about Lindsey Graham is he holds very close policy Republican base race. I think you're going to see...
Quote's not there.
No one here, including me, ever expected to hear me say, I'm Lindsey Graham, and I'm running for President of the United States. I intend to be a president not of a single party, but of a nation.
That person is excited to be there.
I want to do more than make big government smaller. I want to help make a great nation greater. I've got one simple message. I have more experience with our national security than any other candidate in this race. That includes you, Hillary. The Obama administration and some of my colleagues in Congress have substituted wishful thinking for sound national security strategy. Every day the headlines attest to the failures of the Obama-Clinton policies. It is sad for me to report to you, but Barack Obama has made us less safe.
Oh, I need to say Trump in here.
This is a race to the bottom in 2016, the two most unpopular people in modern history, and I think we just got a slightly faster car, and we're going to win the race to the bottom. But when it's over, clearly I ran and I lost. When it's over, I will help President Trump or President Clinton because they're going to need all the help they can get. But I'm not going where Donald Trump is taking the party. I don't believe that Trumpism is conservatism. I just...
That's what I say. MAGA is not conservative. I don't remember a Trump-Pence, the first Trump-Pence sign, no.
Is conservatism. I just can't go there, and I respect people who will go there. Here's the one thing Donald Trump has done. He's united the party around the idea that we need to all vote to protect our Republican majorities in the House and the Senate. If there was ever a time for the country that Trumpism is conservative, but I'm not going where Donald Trump is taking the party. I don't believe that Trumpism is conservatism. I just can't go there, and I respect people who will go there. Here's the one thing Donald Trump has done. He's united the party around the idea that we need to all vote to protect our Republican majorities in the House and the Senate. If there was ever a time for the country to have conservative leadership in the House and the Senate, it will...
CNN interview... May 2016. Download. Okay. Maddie's giving me links. Maddie always has good links. Hashtag meme of the week. The new Trump-Pence logo that's doing something. It's not long enough for that. It's not long enough for that. Political logos are hard. Very hard. Too hard. strangely sexual. You think it's fair to say MAGA isn't conservative, or is it more fair to just say it's extreme conservatism? Well, there's no such thing as extreme conservatism by definition. It is extreme, so it isn't conservative. This was another fun one that I got to point out to my coworker. These are extremist views. They are not conservative views. A conservative would believe in restraining the federal government. Would believe in states' rights. They would believe in keeping corporate interest out of politics. They would believe in traditional Christian values, and we've totally lost that entirely. Now we just have extreme Christianity. Metal Christianity. Jesus fucks you up with a nail bat. Hitler's, I would say that they are politically right. I would say they were extremist nationalist views. I would say to the extent that you say something is liberal or conservative, sure, but I don't believe socialists are liberal. So, like, in the same sense, it's not the same thing. Liberal and conservative are more moderate concepts. They're where you go if you keep moving right from conservatism. Oh, sorry. There we go. What? It's just letters. It's just letters. Don't. Warn me what? They're just letters. They're just letters.
Welcome to Pickens. Thank y'all for coming.
No, socialism cannot
Thank you
be
very
moderate,
much.
At least not
Thank
in a
you.
modern sense.
Thank you
The
all
Overton
for
window
coming.
would have to shift drastically. for
Thank you
those
very,
concepts to
very
become
much.
moderate.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
Welcome
it
to
can be
Pickens
moderate
County.
If
A little bit
what
about
is
this
moderate is
county.
shifted
Just
far to the
calm down
left.
for a second. Welcome to Pickens.
Sorry, this is just for my own
Thank
interest.
y'all for
I just-
coming.
Jeb Bush
had an even worse one.
He's having a really bad campaign. Look at this campaign moment. This is in Hanover on Tuesday. Look at this.
I think the next president needs to be a lot quieter, but send a signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back.
I'm sorry. The next president needs to be a lot quieter. They need to be a lot quieter. Sorry, Maddie, if I was getting drowned out, I was saying that, yes, socialism can be moderate. You just have to drastically shift where moderate is. Moderate can be put anywhere on the political spectrum. It's just a matter of what the majority accepts. It's all about the Overton window.
Back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Oh no!
You know, this campaign has said everything except the candidate, right? Who can connect with voters.
How much longer? How much longer?
Well, I mean, we'll see in New Hampshire.
Back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Oh no!
Oh my God. Well, maybe then you need to educate me, evil alien robot. What are you talking about? I'm gonna watch it one more time. I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna force us to get through it painfully. I forgot this was 2016. I thought this was an older meme than that. It's how forgettable Jeb was.
Signal that we're prepared to act in the national security interests of this country to get back in the business of creating a more peaceful world. Please clap.
Ow. Ow. That hurts so bad. But evil alien robot, what is left and what is right, if not left and right of center? And what is center but where the middle is? Y'all ready for dog cam? This is lasagna. You haven't seen lasagna before. Oh, thank you. She's kind of dirty and nasty. She needs to go to groomer again. Yes, it can be as wide or narrow as it can be, but am I mistaken in thinking that the Overton window determines where center is? And it determines what left and right is? Thank you, Maddie. I wish that I could show you some tricks. She knows bang. She knows shake. She knows dance. She has multiple different vocal commands. She can do speak, she bark. You know, she does I love you, and she does quiet bark. And she does sing, where she goes ow, 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 ow. But evil alien robot, isn't that what center is also? Hi. Okay. Go on. Go on. Noisy. Okay, guys, as little work as we got done tonight, I think I'm going to need to pick it up again tomorrow. And I think I can pick up the pace a little bit more tomorrow. That's an odd idea to me, evil alien robot. It makes it sound like there's some kind of objective stance as to what is conservative and what is liberal. I don't think there is what is left and what is right. I don't think there is an objective middle. I don't think that exists. Wait, no, what Vanity Fair pictures? What are we talking about? I feel like I want to look that up in a different tab before I share it. Oh, I did see I think it was the Pam Bondi ones. Evil alien robot, I hope you come back. I really enjoyed your presence here tonight. It's been great. Usually I don't think I'm this quiet. I don't think I've been entirely quiet tonight, but I'm not usually this quiet. I have my kid every other week, and on her first and last nights, we do sleepovers where she comes and hangs out with me, and so I tuck her in, and then I do my stream anyway. And then also in the middle of the weeks that I don't have her, I get her on one night, and we do that too. Like we'll stay up and watch a movie or whatever. But still try to stream every night. But when she's here, I gotta be quieter. Ex Jaya King. Remind me what I helped with? I don't even remember. What is that about? Oh, Evil Alien Robot. I stream every night, usually starting sometime between 9 and midnight Central. I usually start between 9 and 11:30 Central. It's just a matter of when I can get to it. Being an attorney, like oftentimes I work late and then I have to get home and do shit, and when I can get to it, it's just when I can get to it. And hopefully in the future I can have a more settled schedule. But if you join the Discord, you can always see me announce when I'm going live. Or if you subscribe, you can get an announcement that way. And why I can't get these little windows to line up just right. That's better. Yeah, now I kind of want to know what XGI King is talking about, because I don't remember. Oh. Where? What? Was that here? What? Be yourself here? I'm proud of you for that, and I'm proud of your friend. Who was your friend? I'm gonna pry. I want to know things. Like I gotta know. What do I do successfully? Yeah, people are always welcome here. People of any stripes. As long as they're not gonna be asshole trolls that try to tell me that what Israel does is okay because they are killing baby Hitlers, or try to tell me that, yeah, I don't even want to repeat their other opinions because it's just so insulting to other people. Anyway, I'll do my usual sign off, guys. I'm Know Nothing Attorney. I know nothing, so you can too. Because it's only in embracing that we know nothing that we can actually learn anything, and that's what we do here every day. We learn something. I learn something from you guys. Hopefully you guys get the opportunity to learn something from me or what we do here. And as always, I'm proud of you. I don't need to know you for that to be real. You deserve to hear that somebody's proud of you. Because life is hard. It's always been hard, and it always will be hard. And the way you face every single day, the way you do, is remarkable. So stay remarkable, and I'll see you next time. And I'll hang out for a few more seconds in case anybody's got anything else to say, but then I'll actually say bye. Just want to make sure people heard it while they were still here. I love you guys, and I'm proud of you. And if anyone ever wants to share something that they're proud of, and they don't feel like they usually can't just tell people stuff that they're proud of, and they want that to be celebrated, let me invite you to share what you're proud of with me, and I will be proud of it with you. That's cool. You're welcome to talk yourself up here. Ooh, looks like everybody bailed. Two-hour stream, not bad. Okay, with that, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. Y'all have a good night, rest well, or good day. If I guess OMG left a while ago, they're over in the Netherlands. But have a good whatever, guys. Have a good life. And I'll see you during more of your life later. All right, peace out. Bye bye, Billy Blee. Good night.